guys, welcome to Power of Voice Language Center, where linguistic precision is at the service of your ambitions. In today's lesson, I'm gonna walk you through some mistakes that many English learners makes and how you can easily fix them. So whether you're beginner, intermediate, or advanced, we all are gonna learn something from today's video. You guys ready? Let's go. Let's kick it off. These mistakes actually that we want to talk about are related to uncountable nouns. But what does it mean? When we talk about uncountable nouns, we're just talking about nouns that we cannot count. We do not use article like or on, but we do not also add s to make them plural. So first of all, let us have a look at some examples of those uncountable nouns that we're talking about. The list of those uncountable nouns that we're talking about here, we're just going to find out some examples, but the list goes beyond what we have here. Here are the list: water, milk, rice, sugar, salt, information, advice, furniture, luggage, money, traffic, nouns, hope, happiness. So we're now going to focus on some rules that we have to use when you're talking about uncountable nouns. And while focusing on those rules, we're going to learn how we can avoid making those mistakes while communicating in English. Rule number one: don't use or on when you're using uncountable nouns. For example, never say an information is totally wrong, but rather say a piece of information or some information. Let us now consider some example in which we can actually use those words. Number one, I received a piece of information. So here we're talking about a specific fact. I received some information from the boss. You see, again, a piece of information and some information. We do not use article like or on. Great. Second word, water. Can you give me some water? Can you give me some water? And again, if you pay careful attention, while using water here, we do not or didn't use articles like or on. Another example is furniture. Now, while also talking about furnitures, we just talking about items like table, chair, bench, desk, whatever. But when you want to use one of those words as well, you have to pay careful attention not to use article like or on. Again, you can easily say a piece of furniture or some furniture. Totally correct, but never say a furniture. That's wrong. Here are some examples. Damn girls, you bought some furniture yesterday. You see, yeah, when you say damn girls, just to express a feeling of surprise. Damn girls, you bought some furniture yesterday. You bought some furniture. Again, we do not add s here, or we do not also use articles like when you're moving out of one apartment to live in a new one, most of the time we also buy some furniture, right, to well equip the new apartment we want to live in. So again, no matter how huge or whatever be the number of furniture that you buy, make sure that while using this word furniture in a sentence, you do not say furnitures or a furniture, but always use a piece of furniture or some furniture. Another example is advice. You see, with this word as well, we do not use articles like on to say on advice, but rather we just say a piece of advice or some advice. The second rule that we want to talk about here, we do not add x to make them plural when you're talking about uncountable nouns. So what do we mean? For example, you can never say informations when you want to mean, for example, you receive a great amount of information and you want to say informations to make it plural. It's totally wrong in English. We just say information. Advices is wrong. Furnitures, wrong as well. But the correct form is information, advice, furniture, water, milk, rice, sugar, salt. Again, if you pay careful attention, you will notice that those words that we're talking about or we are using here, even if we're talking about the plural form, we never ever add X to make them plural. Now, another rule that we must apply when you're talking about uncountable nouns is usually we use how much. Okay, we use how much, not how many, when you're talking about uncountable nouns. So what do we mean? Let us now consider some examples in which we're gonna use how much, and that will help you to understand in a practical way how you can use how much while talking about uncountable nouns. Example number 1. How much water do you drink? How much water do you drink? So never say how many water now, but instead you have to say how much water do you drink? How much money do you have? You see, so when you want to have an idea about the exact amount of money that someone has, you have to ask that question this way: how much money do you have? Or how much money do you make? So how much information did you receive? How much information did you receive? Again, do not say how many information, it's wrong, but how much information did you receive? How much furniture do you need? So talking about furniture that you will have to buy, for example, when you want to live your new apartment. So how much furniture do you need? How much furniture do you need? Again, we didn't add S, but we just said furniture. And the question word that we've used here is how much, not how many. So the goal here when you're talking about this video is not about mastering, burying your mind, all these words that we've talked about, but the goal is quite simple: help you identify and understand these mistakes. And now pay careful attention when you're talking, now not to make these mistakes again, okay? So do not try to master, to bury them in your mind, but rather just try to practice to use them in your everyday conversation. And the more you practice, the easier it becomes for you to understand and to start avoiding these mistakes. So I hope you've learned something from it. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment, and we will see you very soon in the next one. Thank you.